already pulled up.
On the edge of our seats in anticipation for today's matchup. Our Pea Ridge Blackhawks are the reigning state champs for 4A bowling, and the Heritage War Eagles are hoping to have a good game against them today. Obviously, they're going to put up a tough match, but they're going to do pretty good. And our Heritage War Eagles are the state runner-ups for 2017-2018 and the state runner-ups for 2020 and 2021, as well as the girls bowling state runner-up for, I think, maybe this last year. Can't quite see that banner.
That's okay.
We're doing our best here.
The War Eagles are going to soar today.
It's going to be a really exciting matchup, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you just gotta keep tuning in. You know, we have a lot of great things going on here at War Eagle TV.
We have bowling here at the Rogers Bowling Center. We have wrestling at Bentonville West this evening.
Yep, it's going to be quite exciting. We have our Lady War Eagles.
We'll be right back after this break.
Stay tuned in.
The roof is the home's main defense against the elements, so services like upkeep, repairs, and upgrades are vital. David's Roofing is the only roofing contractor in Northwest Arkansas that has a prestigious Select Shingle Master rating from Certainty. With David's Roofing, your roof is in good hands.
Always remember to drive your own bus.
The roof is the home's main defense against the elements, so services like upkeep, repairs, and upgrades are vital. David's Roofing is the only roofing contractor in Northwest Arkansas that has the prestigious Select Shingle Master rating from Certainty. With David's Roofing, your roof is in good hands.
Always remember to drive your own bus.
The roof is the home's main defense against the elements, so services like upkeep, repairs, and upgrades are vital. David's Roofing is the only roofing contractor in Northwest Arkansas that has the prestigious Select Shingle Master rating from Certainty. With David's Roofing, your roof is in good hands.
And we're back. If you're just tuning in, we are here at the Rogers Bowling Center, where your one and only Heritage War Eagles are going against the Pea Ridge Blackhawks and the Rogers High School Mounties.
This is going to be a really exciting matchup, as the Pea Ridge Blackhawks are the reigning state champions for the 4A division. Looks like our boys and our girls are warming up today, and we will have lanes 15 through lanes 18 tonight. Heritage girls will be on your first two lanes, and your Heritage boys will be on your second two lanes. We will try our best to split between the two pretty evenly during gameplay, just so that everyone gets a chance to be seen on this broadcast tonight. Looks like warm-up time has just ended, and Coach is pulling all of the teammates together just to kind of talk about what's going to be happening and talk about some game play and some strategy.
Ignore Will.
Will's taking some amazing photos for us
Yes.
tonight, and he will
Shout
be
out.
going over to the wrestling match. We're hoping to see a lot of our bowlers get some great baggers tonight and really go for the best and go from some strikes.
Yes.
But, you know, with any outcome, we're proud of them nonetheless.
Yes, we are.
I know it's going to be a lot of people's first time tonight probably watching a bowling match. I know it's mine,
Looks like
and I'm super excited. Looks like they're calling it up right now.
one last little call before we.
Beautiful. I love to hear those two words consecutively said. Pretty amazing. War Eagles, favorite phrase of the year.
Yes.
Nothing like that electric energy between a team as they call it up before going into gameplay.
Yes.
Pea Ridge Blackhawks are looking pretty fierce. But I know our Heritage girls and our Heritage boys have all the potential to
Yes.
beat both of the teams here tonight.
Girls here, boys there.
Got it. Looks like one of our boys has already scored.
Looks like gone for almost a complete strike. Looks like a spare
Looks
right
like
there.
18 had a complete strike.
Only left for that that 10th pin
Looks
on the
like
right side. Pretty amazing to see some success going on early in this game.
Yes, indeed.
I can say confidently that both of these teams, both the boys and the girls, have practiced pretty hard. Looks like we have Alexander going in to easily.
I'm seeing a
Hit
lot
that
of strikes
10th pin.
here. I'm seeing 2 strike. I'm seeing 1 strike for our boys.
Pretty amazing to see. And a lot of the chanting, it's really giving a great environment here to be
Yes, it
playing in
is.
this, ladies and gentlemen. And
Yes.
it's hard to replicate it over this live stream, but
Truly a great environment.
and what I really love seeing these teams play is they chant for each other no matter what
Yes.
happens. They are there to support each other no matter the outcome and how it ends up going.
Yes. Looks like our War Eagles are doing absolutely phenomenal right now.
Looks like lane 18 just had a spare. We've got someone on lane 17 going for 2 more pins. And then
Looks like we have another strike for the Heritage boys.
did a little double-handed bowling there in lane 17. Again, just got to restate this, folks. Some great support going on
Truly.
from the teammate and the coaches. You know, you don't see anyone getting mad at each other if they do not superior
Yes.
on one of their attempts. You know, it's really a great environment to play in, and definitely really encouraging for everyone going for it here today.
Gotta pull out our bowling glossary.
Did some double-handed bowling action there. Only 2
Yes.
pins left to hit. Should be pretty easy as they are both standing right together. So
Fairly easy.
in lane 17, the number 2 and the number 8 pin are left down the center, and then in lane 18 we've got the 10th pin left.
Yes. Looks
Beautiful accuracy from all
Yes.
our players tonight.
Looks like both of our teams are looking at. Looks like our girls have 2 strikes and our boys have 3 or 2.
Great start to the night here.
Truly.
Lady Sellers goes in for it. Only 2 pins left. Looks like that's going to be your 6th pin and your 10th pin. Going for a nice spare there. Only 1 pin left, and that's going to be number 7 in lane 17. Nice Lane 16, we've got Lainey Sellers going for it, and she just overshoots it just a bit, and ball ends up in the gutter, but it's okay. Only 2 left. Pretty amazing.
Yes, it is.
Definitely better than I can do. I know a lot of folks out there watching probably have done baseball once or twice just with some friends or some family, and anyone knows that, you know, there's no easy way to just accurately hit it every single time, right? It takes a lot to be really consistent at this sport, and I have a lot of respect for the girls and boys out there doing it right now.
Yeah.
Ashley Fletcher in lane 16 goes in for a clean strike. And at that same time, we have one of our male bowlers in lane 17
Picking up another
also
strike.
picking up another strike. Pretty great. Just gotta brag on these people there. Lane 17 goes in for a nice spare as that number 7 pin is just barely knocked over. Number 5 pin is the only one left. Can't really expect a strike every time. That would be pretty insane, but even getting a spare is just amazing and going to be helpful in the long run.
Yes, it is.
Consistency is going to be a big factor for these boys and girls tonight as they bowl. The ability to be consistent can really make or break your game here.
Yes, it can.
Seeing a lot of fist bumps all around from both
Lots
the
of
boys and the
chants.
girls' side.
Yeah, lots of chants, lots of support.
Trying to get a good view here. Got lane 17 doing her address. He goes in for it. Beautiful curve on that, and that's going to be a strike, ladies and gentlemen. Number 16 going for the last 3 pins and successfully knocks him over. Amazing accuracy. Great way to start this off. Lane 15. Looks like we might have Ashley Fletcher going up to bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe we do.
And then in lane 17, we've got one of our guys going in for it. That's going to be Parker Logan, who immediately delivers a beautiful and clean strike. Lane 18 going in for it. Looks to only be about 3 pins left there, and that's going to be your number 3 pin, your number 6, and your number 10. Another one of our bowlers doing an address. Beautiful double-handed.
Looks like we had a strike there in lane 17.
Beautiful double-handed bowling, and there was a beautiful curve on that. Amazing support from everyone here. Lane 16, going for the curve, and it is almost successfully delivered. Great effort there, War Eagles. Ashley Fletcher going in to knock down her last 3 pins, and it is successful. Lane 17, Sloan goes in for it. Only 2 pins left there, and that's going to be your number 4 pin and your number 7 pin. Sorry, folks. Got 2 pins left in lane 16. It's going to be your number 6 and your number 10 pin. A lot of great discussion here between teammates about how to approach
Truly.
these addresses.
Looks like we had another clear strike for lane 17, I believe.
Elizabeth is able to go in and only leave the number 6 pin standing. One of our boy bowlers going in for it, taking his time with the one-hand bowl. And it's a clean strike. Very nice. Lane 15 going for that last pin, and it's not quite successful. But again, leaving only 1 pin is pretty great.
Yes, it is.
Slow approach here in lane 17. And then a quick release on that ball.
Oh, just shy of a strike.
Only the number 4 pin left standing in lane 17.
Lady Sellers going up in lane 16. And that's a strike.
A lot of organized chaos in the Rogers Bowling Center today, but
Yes, you have bowling leagues, bowling teams, and then there's the people who love to bowl for fun.
number 15 going in for it. Looks like there are 3 pins left standing, but that was some beautiful,
Yes,
Some
3, 8, and
beautiful
10.
effort.
Oh, I lied. 3,
Lane-
9, and 10.
Lane 16, Ashley Fletcher goes in for it, leaving only 1 pin standing. And that's going to be your number 4 pin.
Looks like Parker Logan is getting ready to bowl once again.
Looks like so far our Heritage girls are at a score of 175 and 172, and our Heritage boys are at a score of 179 and 184. Gonna have to keep giving some nice score updates to you as we weren't able to get a scoreboard working, but next time we assure you we will have one of those up and working.
Up and running. Looks like the Mounties are taking the lead right now with about 2. If I'm not, is that a 2?
Looks
or
like
one?
a score 213 and score 244.
And then we're in second place with 183s, 179, 183, 179, 191, and 199, and then 184.
Clean strike for one of your boys in lane 17. And then lane 16 going for these last 3 pins standing, successfully knocks him right over.
Lane 18, clean strike once again.
Boys are really killing it here today. We've got Laney Sellers addressing. Ball goes all the way down. 3 pins left standing. There's going to be 1 pin left standing in lane 17, and it's going to be number 2. Amazing approaching from each of these bowlers here.
Looks like your Heritage boys are slowly taking over. We're slowly taking in that first place. We're looking at 228 and 220.
Lane 17, just now Parker Logan was able to have some good accuracy there and successfully send his ball down the approach to hit that last pin.
We are just shy of taking over one of the Mounties.
Looks like a clean strike on lane 17.
Looks like we've taken over. Looks like both of our Heritage boys lanes have taken over one of the Mounties boys lanes. That other one is looking at 265, and we are at 228 and 252. So lane 18 is cutting it pretty close. And your girls have made it up to 210 and 212. Camera change for you guys.
Looks like lane 16, we have one of our Heritage girls going for a address, sending the ball down the approach.
Almost.
4 pins left there. Lane 15, we've got Ashley Fletcher going for a address, sending the ball down the approach. Only 1 pin left here. Let's see if she can do it, folks. Just shy of that last pin, but still a great run.
Yes. Looks like your Heritage boys have taken first place. Lane 18 with a score of 286. Oh wait, no, they have not. They are very, very close. close. Lane 21 is at 2. It's at 3:14, and the boys in lane 18 are at 3:13. Looks like we're getting pretty close to taking in that first place spot.
It's a lot of quick action here. A lot of places for us to look all at once.
Yes, there definitely is.
Lane 18, we've got one of our boys going for his pins. Only one left up. And then lane 17, we've got one of our boys successfully knocking down that last pin.
Looks like your girls are sitting in second place right now.
Lane 15, we've got one of our girls going for it. Only 3 pins left up. Lane 16, we've got Ashley Fletcher going for a dress, sending the ball down the approach. And a clean strike for one of our Lady War Eagles. Lane 18, sending the ball down the approach, and there are 4 pins left up for our boys War Eagles in lane 18. A lot of quick movement here as we.
There definitely is a lot of quick movement. Very quick pace.
Lane 17, we've got one of our Heritage War Eagle boys bowlers going for the strategic approach by going for the side that has 2 pins rather than 1, and he is able to successfully knock those 2 pins down, leaving only 1 up in lane 17. Lane 15 sends the ball down the approach. Only 1 left up. Ladies and gents, this takes a lot of talent. I mean,
Yes, it does.
I can personally say I have to bowl with the bumpers on or else it's going to be a gutter
I
ball
know.
every time.
I have to bowl with that little dinosaur slide thing.
Lane
Otherwise,
16.
it's going to hit the gutter.
One of our Lady War Eagles did a beautiful double hand address, sending the ball down the approach with a really nice curve and getting a clean strike. Lane 17, one of our boys bowlers, sending it down. And there we go, a clean strike. That pin definitely went around a little bit and bobbled a little bit before it went down, but in the end it
Thought
did.
about it. That pin thought about it. Looks like another clean strike.
Lane 18 for Boys Heritage War Eagles.
Yeah.
Lane 17, Parker Logan, making some nice eye contact with the pins and taking a slow address, sending the ball down the approach. And another clean strike. Some beautiful approaching. Boys definitely have some momentum working out. Let's see if the girls can do the same.
Lane 16 here. Clean strike in lane 16.
Lane 15 going for these last 2 pins. Knocks 1 down, so very close. Lane 17 sending that ball right down the approach.
Clean strike.
Another clean strike. A lot of really competitiveness, but we can definitely tell our War Eagles have the highest morale as they are cheering on their teammates. Lane 15, Laney Sellers sending the ball down the approach. Looks like there's about 4 pins left. Lane 16 sending the ball down the approach. 3 pins left. Again, it takes a lot to be really consistent in this
Lane
sport.
18. Clean. Looks like a clean strike from lane 18.
Lane 16.
Trying to get these last 3. 1 is knocked down, 2 are left standing.
Lane 18.
Looks like another clean strike for lane 18.
Lane 17, let's see if he can follow this up.
Sloan here for the strike.
Heritage War Eagles are doing an amazing job upping their
really
score
are.
so quickly. Lane 16 goes
2
for that.
pins.
2 pins left up. And the beautiful thing about bowling is even if that ball looks like it's about to go right into the gutter but doesn't at the last second, you still have the chance to only leave one pin up, as all that
Lead
momentum
strike from lane 17 once again.
and that aggression from your address is really what matters. Lane 15, we have Ashley Fletcher going to knock down these last 3 pins, and she does it successfully. Lane 16, Lainey Sellers able to knock down her last, not able to knock down her last 2 pins, as she was only able to knock down 1. Great effort there, though. Number 17, or lane 17, with a clean strike. Pretty amazing.
Lane 15. Oh. 3 pins left standing. 3 pins just remain for lane 15.
Lane 16, Ashley Fletcher goes for it.
2 pins left standing.
And I love all this team spirit that the Heritage Warriors are
Truly.
showing. Some of the girls have some heritage colored bows in their hair. Pretty great to see. Love when participants add some extra flair to their look and show extra support for their team. Lane 16, we've got Ashley Fletcher sending the ball down the approach to get down these last 2 pins, and she does it successfully, very cleanly. Lane 18, we've got Parker Logan looking to take down those last 2 pins. Ball goes down the approach, and 1 is knocked down. Lane 17, going for it, sending the ball down the approach. Another clean strike for Heritage Boys War Eagles. Really love this amazing energy out here tonight. Our boys are having some amazing success going into this. And it looks like they might just be in the lead now. Just about, just about. Definitely think they can bring it back. Mounties are bowling a close game though. Pea Ridge is just tailing behind. Parker Logan sends the ball down the approach. Into the gutter. It's all right. They can't all be winners, right? As I said, consistency is so hard, but really I hope these boys can keep up their momentum here. If they're able to keep this amazing momentum with these strikes, keep following and repeating, then could just win it all. Lane 15 goes in for it. Ball goes down the approach, and there's 1 pin left standing. Lane 18. Looks like there are 3 pins left. Lane 17 is going for it. 2 pins left. Picking this momentum back up. Lane 16. Ball goes down the approach. And that is a clean strike. Lane 17 taking a slow address, sends the ball down the approach. 1 pin left up, and it bobbles a little bit, but just doesn't want to go down yet. Lane 15 able to get that last pin down for a beautiful spare. Again, just great support we're seeing from all of these teammates to each other. Really love the chanting. Keeps the energy just utterly electric in here right now. Lane 18 looks like that last pin is able to get knocked down successfully. Lane 17, one of our Heritage boys, taking his time with it, making his address.
Looks like lane 18 has taken first place with a score of 5-15.
Pushes that ball right down for a clean strike in lane 17.
Lane 16, clean strike.
Love to see those amazing smiles after they walk off from getting a strike. Great energy. Lane 17, going for the address, walking down. Pushes it right down the approach.
Just 3 pins left standing in lane 17.
Looks like there are about 4 pins left in lane 15. Lane 16.
Lane 16, 1 pin left.
Lane 15, Lainey Sellers is going for those last 4 pins, and she's
it's
able to
down.
knock them down. Lane 16 goes for her last pin, just not successful, but getting 9 out of 10 is not bad. A in my books, folks. Lane 17 goes for those last 3 pins, and it just slips right between them.
Lane 16, Lainey Sellers.
Sends the ball down the approach. 4 pins left. Lane 18 sends the ball down the approach. 3 pins left. Lane 17 addressing the ball, sending it down the approach. 1 pin left. A lot of amazing bowlers here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lane 16, Lainey Sellers, sending the ball down the approach for those last 4 pins, and she gets them all down. Lane 15, sending the ball down. 1 pin left standing. Lane 17, maybe a slow and steady address, sends the ball down the approach.
Strike!
All of those pins goes right down effortlessly. Lane 16, Lainey Sellers goes for it. Looks to be about 5 pins left.
Lane 18 here once again.
Lane 15 going for
1
her
pin left in lane 18.
last pin standing, and it goes down successfully in lane 15. Lane 16, Ashley Fletcher, sending the ball down the approach. Oh, and that second to last one just bobbles on down, so leaving 1 pin left, and that's going to be pin number 7. Lane 18, we've got Parker Logan. Looking at the pins, sends the ball down the approach. Oh, one pin left standing. Ashley Fletcher successfully gets her last pin down. Heritage boys have a score of 527 in lane 17 and 578 in lane 18.
Yes, meaning your Heritage boys are currently winning right now. Oh, wait.
Lane 15, she's able to knock down every pin but 1. In lane 16, Ashley Fletcher sends the ball down the approach.
2 pins left standing. Looks like the Mountie boys have finished their round. And it looks like both of the Mounties have finished their round, and your Heritage boys finished theirs.
First time at a bowling match.
Yes, it looks like lane 15 has finished their round. And it looks like we have one last round going, one last shot going for lane 16.
And ladies and gentlemen, I just gotta say, this is really entertaining.
This is really entertaining.
For a first time watching a bowling match, this is pretty amazing. Leaving me hungry, wanting more. It's pretty great. Or maybe that's just my stomach growling for some food.
I can always get you food, Vivian. We don't have to no broadcasters need to go hungry while they broadcast.
Don't worry, I do a pretty good job of not keeping hungry most of the time. Maybe it's just the bowling.
I think it is. We have 7 viewers right now and 1 like. Thank you so much to our 7 viewers and the 1 person who watched and the 1 person who liked our live stream.
Lane 15 sends the ball down the approach, 1 pin left standing. Let's see if she's able to knock it down. I think this might be our last bowler in lane 15.
I believe so.
As Both of the boys' lanes are done, and one of the girls' lanes is done, and she's able to send that last pin right down.
And it looks
for-
like your girls are done as well. We have finished our first round of bowling. I believe there are still more to go.
Coaches are deliberating about scores, tallying things up, just to see who comes out on top for this first round.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I kind of want to sing right now.
Interesting take.
Sing some
Interesting take.
Christmas songs. Last Christmas.
I can definitely say that Heritage is definitely in the Christmas mood right now with all the basketball games.
Yes, we
and the
are.
wrestling festivities beginning.
Speaking of which, basketball this Friday, War Eagle Arena. The theme is superheroes.
Be
Pull
there.
pull up, or watch our live stream.
We appreciate either one.
Yes.
Can
But if
definitely
you do
say
decide to show up, make sure you're in full superhero spirit.
there's going to be some electric energy from that student section. And the announcer is talking through our first match.
Looks like one of the P-Ridge girls scored a 190.
It's a great score. Ashley
Fletcher,
Fletcher,
180.
our own War Eagles. Lady War Eagles did a great job. Great support. And it's great sportsmanship seeing our War Eagles clap, even if they're not of their own team. Pretty amazing things happening here. We're about to start game 2.
We'll be right back after this quick break. Where's my N?
We are Heritage! We are Heritage!
We are Heritage!
We are Heritage!
The roof is the home's main defense against the elements, so services like upkeep, repairs, and upgrades are vital. David's Roofing is the only roofing contractor in Northwest Arkansas that has the prestigious Select Shingle Master rating from Certainty. With David's Roofing, your roof is in good hands.
Always remember to drive your own bus.
And we're back, War Eagles. If you're just now tuning in, we had a great first match, and this is just going to be the beginning of our second matches for our beloved Heritage War Eagles boys and girls bowling team. we've got our girls currently with a score of 29 to begin and 20 in lanes 15 and 16, and our boys with a score of 28 and 36 in lanes 17 and 18. Got one of our boys looking for that address. Sends the ball down the approach. And that's going to leave 4 pins up. 1 pin left up as Ashley Fletcher sends it down. Doesn't quite make it there. She bowled a great first match, though, ladies and gentlemen, with a score of 180. Lane 15 going for those last 3 pins. Just goes right in between them for Heritage Girls War Eagles. Lane 17 sends the ball right down the approach, knocks over all of those last pins. Takes a lot of accuracy to be good at this sport, folks. Lane 18, looks like 1 pin is left up, and that's going to be pin number 9. Lane 15, nice, clean, and easy strike. Love to see all the high fives around after one of these people's fellow teammates gets a strike. Pretty great. Pretty great support coming from these teammates to one another. You really love to see it, and bowling is a really hard sport. Takes a lot of consistency to be good at. Lane 16 sends the ball down the approach, 3 pins left standing. Lane 15, Lainey Sellers is able to leave only 1 pin standing. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach, leaving all but 1 pin standing. Gotta be pretty frustrating as a bowler to only leave 1 standing, but we know that they have the skills to bring that last pin right down. Lane 16 left 3 pins standing and then only 1 on that second try. Lane 17 going for the address for that last pin, really looking at it and taking their time there. That's going to be the key to being successful in this sport. Pushes it down the approach, and that last pin goes right down. Lane 16 sends the ball down the approach, leaving 3 pins left up. Lane 15, Ashley Fletcher sends the ball right down the approach. 3 pins left up. Lane 17, Parker Logan goes in for it. And there are 2 pins left up. Great attempts going around by all of these War Eagles here. Really love to see all the team support as well. Lane 16 goes for those last 3 pins and just short of knocking them down as the ball goes right in between them. Lane 15, Ashley Fletcher looking to knock down the last 3 pins. Sends the ball down the approach. Again, just shy of hitting those last pins down. Lane 17, Parker Logan goes in for those 2 pins, and it hits them very clean and easily. Looks like we've got our girls lane 15 at a score of 89. We've got our girls lane 16 at a score of 70. Boys lane 17 at a score of 87. And boys lane 18 at a score of 98. Lane 16 goes in for those last 3 pins and successfully gets them, making it a spare.
Lane 18
sends the ball down the approach. 3 pins with the last one kind of bobbling around but staying up. Lane 17, 2 pins left up.
Lane 16, Lainey Sellers.
Takes a lot of strategy to be able to do this correctly, ladies and gentlemen.
Looks
Lainey
like
Sellers
1 pin left standing.
leaves only 1 pin left up, and that's going to be your number 7 pin. Lane 15, only 1 pin left up. Second try is not quite successful as that ball goes into the gutter. Lane 16, we've got Lainey working on that last pin standing, sends the ball down the approach, and it goes down. Amazing accuracy. Great precision there, sending the ball down the approach into that 1 pin left standing. Lane 15 able to go, and there's only 1 pin left standing. That's going to be your number 10 pin. Lane 17 makes it an attempt to hit those last pins down. Just doesn't quite work out. Lane 18, looks like there's 1 pin left standing. It's Parker Logan sends it down the approach and just misses it. Really good effort from both the boys and the girls team here. Lane 17 gets a clean strike. Really nice thing about this game is there's really not much pressure, as it's pretty quick as each person rotates in and out of their lane, and a lot of the other teams are focused on their own thing, so don't really got to worry about the pressure of the other teams. Lane 17 leaving only 1 pin left up, and it bobbles around a little bit, but is a bit stubborn and stays up. Lane 16, Ashley Fletcher goes right in for that last pin and knocks it down, making it a clean spare. Lane 15, sending the ball down the approach. 3 pins. Lane 17, sending the ball right into that last pin that was left up for your Heritage boys. Lane 16 sends it down the approach. 2 pins left standing. Lane 15 comes back for revenge for those last 2 pins and is just shy of hitting them as the ball goes right into the gutter. But it's really great to see the morale that is going on between both the Heritage boys and girls team. They're not discouraged, even if they have a bit of a bad run. Still feel good and fresh going into that next one. Lane 17 leaves pins left standing. Lane 15 sending the ball down the approach by Lainey Sellers, 4 pins left standing. Lane 16 going in for those last 2 pins standing, and they go right down. Lane 18 going in for that last pin, just shy of it. Lane 15, we've got Lainey Sellers going in for those last 4 pins. Hits 2 of them down. Lane 16 sends the ball down the approach. 2 left standing. Lane 17 going in for those last 2 pins. Curves it just right to hit one of the pins over. Lane 16 looks like there are 2 pins left standing there. Ashley Fletcher sends the ball down the approach in lane 15. Looks like it might have been a clean strike over there in lane 15. Lane 16 sending the ball right into those last 2 pins, making it a spare. Parker Logan in lane 17 sends the ball down the approach. Only 1 pin left standing. A lot of pressure there when there's only 1 pin. Only got 1 target to go for. Lane 18 is able to successfully hit down that last pin left standing, making it a spare. Lane 16 goes in, 1 pin left standing. Lane 17, Parker Logan going in for the slow address. Sends it right into that last pin, making it a spare. Lane 15 goes in to hit her last pin, and it is not successful as the ball goes into the gutter. Lane 16 also going in for her last pin. Also not successful, just shy of hitting it. Lane 17 goes in and sends the ball down the approach. 1 pin left standing. Bowling a great game over here. Really aggressive strategy and great gameplay from both our Heritage boys and girls.
Lane 16 has 2 pins left standing. Lane 18 with a perfect strike.
Pretty amazing to see there. It's great to see the look on their faces when they get a nice little strike. Lane 17 goes in for his last pin and is just shy of hitting it, as lane 15 goes in for those last 2 pins, also just shy.
Looks like Parker Logan is up in lane 18.
Lane 16, one of our Heritage girls, is able to hit down her last 2 pins, making it a
Parker
spare.
Logan with a strike in lane.
Lane 17, Sloan sends it down the approach. Looks like 4 pins left standing.
Perfect strike from lane 18.
Lane 15 going in, and 2 pins left up. Lane 16, it's going to be Lainey Sellers is about to go in. They'll hit her last 4 pins.
Looks like another strike from 17.
Boys are picking up some great momentum. Lainey Sellers sends the ball down into the approach, successfully hitting over 2 pins but leaving 2 up. Lane 15 going in for those last 2 pins. It's really definitely hard when you have 2 pins left standing and they're pretty far apart from each other to get that curve just right on the second try to be able to successfully hit them both over. But lane 16, Ashley Fletcher is able to get a clean strike. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach. Looks like 3 pins left standing.
Lane 16 has, looks like 2 pins left standing. Oh, 3 pins. My bad. Hard to tell.
Lane 15, Lainey Sellers goes in, sending the ball down the approach. 2 pins left up as one of our Heritage Boy bowlers sends the ball down the approach, going for his last 3 pins, and only 1 is left standing. Still some amazing efforts from both sides.
Looks like Sloan is going for that last hit, and it is unfortunately unsuccessful.
One of our Heritage Lady War Eagles in lane 16 has 3 pins left standing and is able to hit down 2 with 1 left. Pretty amazing to see. Lane 16 sends the ball down the approach, 3 pins left standing. Lane 17 gets a clean strike. So the same happens in lane 15 for Ashley Fletcher as she is able to attain a clean strike.
Yes, indeed.
Lane 18, another clean strike for Heritage War Eagles. Pretty amazing to see, and some electric energy from all of your fellow teammates cheering them on. Great momentum from both sides here. Let's hope they can keep this up. Looks like in lane 15 the score is 266, lane 16 scores 214, lane 17 for Heritage Boys 255, and lane 18 286. Lane 15 sends the ball down the approach, 3 pins left standing. Lane 17, Parker Logan is able to attain a strike.
Clean strike. Lots of strikes here today, Vivian.
It's pretty amazing to see.
Yes, lots of strikes, lots of support.
I definitely have a lot of respect for our boys and girls out doing some bowling today because this is a really hard sport.
Yeah.
To keep
And
it
this
frank.
is our first bowling match to watch and live stream.
Lane 16 sends the ball down the approach, leaves 2 pins left standing.
18 has also left 2 pins left standing.
And lane 17 gets a clean strike. Lane 15 sends the ball down the approach, going for these last 3 pins, and unsuccessful as the ball goes into the gutter. A lot of great encouragement from both coaches I'm seeing here. Lane 16 going in for those last 2 pins, hits them right in for a spare.
Looks like 18 sends the ball down, and they are successful in hitting both of their pins.
Lane 17, Sloan sends the ball down the approach.
Cool.
Almost a clean strike as that last pin bobbles, but is stubborn and stays up. Lane 16 sends the ball down the approach, 1 pin left standing. Lane 15, we've got one of our Heritage Lady War Eagles going for her last pin. Let's see if this is successful. A successful address to send the ball down the approach and get that spare. Looks like that last pin goes right down. Lane 16, we've got another one of our Lady Warrior Girls going for the same thing, and she's able to attain a spare and hit that last pin down. Lane 17,
1 pin.
1 pin as well, just shy of hitting it down. Still an amazing
Yes.
run.
It looks like 18 Parker Logan has 2 pins left standing.
Let's see if he can successfully get them down for a spare. Taking a nice slow approach to this, sends the ball down the approach, and with ease he hits those last 2 pins down. In 17, a strike.
Lots of
Amazing.
successes. There was a lot of success here today.
Lane 16, Lainey Sellers sends the ball down the approach, 4 pins left standing. And in lane 15, looks like there are 2 pins left standing. Sends the ball down. And those 2 pins are easily and successfully hit down for a spare. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach, clean spare for your Heritage Boys bowling team. Lane 16, Lainey Sellers tries to go for those last 4 pins, but the ball goes into the gutter. Lane 15 gets a clean strike for her girls. Great momentum again from both sides, and some great support from all of the teammates. Ashley
Surely.
Fletcher goes to address, doing some left-handed bowling here. Sends the ball down, 2 pins left standing in lane 16 for Ashley Fletcher.
Lane 17 just 2 pins shy of getting a strike.
Got lane 15, Lainey Sellers sends the ball down the approach. Only 2 pins left standing. Got lane 17, one of our Heritage Boys, going for those last 2 pins. Looks like he hits them down successfully for a nice spare. I really love the environment that these teams have going on.
There is definitely a really positive environment here tonight.
Lane 16, Ashley Fletcher is able to hit down one of those 2 last pins standing. Looks like Lainey Sellers is able to get a spare and hit down those last 2 pins in lane 15. Lane 18, Sloan goes for those last 3 pins, but is unsuccessful as the ball goes into the gutter. In lane 17, Parker Logan sends the ball down the approach. 1 pin left standing, very clean. Lane 16, sending the ball down the approach, going right down the middle, hits down all but 2 pins. A lot of great strategy coming from both teams. Lane 15, Ashley Fletcher sends the ball down the approach, 3 pins left standing. Just a quick little update on score for our boys. We have lane 17 at a score of 387, lane 18 at a score of 94, lane 15 for your girls at a score of 345, and lane 16 for your girls at a score of 289.
Your boys' score is looking at lane 17, 388, lane 19, 398, and then the Mounties are at 281 in lane 20.
Lane 16, one of our girls sends the ball down, trying to get those last 2 pins down, and is able to get 1 down as lane 17 for Heritage Boys gets a clean strike. Lane 15, Ashley Fletcher is able to successfully send her last 3 pins down for a spare. And in lane 18, there's another clean strike, picking up some great momentum for our boys bowling today. Also, gotta say, some great coaching going on
There
for
is
Heritage.
definitely a lot of great coaching.
Can tell they are really invested in this
Yes.
match, which is amazing to see.
Definitely. And all of the support here, too, is insane. There are so many people right now, parents, other bowlers that are watching and cheering on all of our teams.
Pretty amazing thing to see. Really gotta love the support. I think that's a great thing that Heritage does really well, is building a culture around having a lot of team support, no matter what team you're on. Lane 15, able to knock down all but 2 pins, and lane 16 going for that last pin and just shy of hitting it.
Lane 18, 2 pins left.
Lane 17 going for those last, looks like 4 pins, and is able to successfully hit them all down for a spare. Lane 15 going for those last 2 pins, sends the ball down. And they go right down, and that try is successful for a spare. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach. All of those pins go down for a clean strike. Pretty amazing. Really love the fist bumping going on here.
Yes.
And it is great to see the faces after they get a strike. Must be a pretty amazing feeling. Lane 16 is able to send all those pins down except for 4. Looks like lane 18 has 2 pins left up after that second try. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach, 3 pins left standing.
Lane 15, just 2 pins left standing.
Lane 16 looks like 4 pins left standing, going in for it. And is able to hit 2 of those 4 down. Looks like we've got lane 17 going in for those last 3 pins. And is able to easily and effortlessly hit all of those 3 pins down for a spare. Lane 15 going in for her last 2 pins. Gets 1 successfully down. And lane 18 is able to leave only 1 pin left up. Lane 16, 2 pins left up. See if these boys and girls are able to successfully get some spares. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach. And it looks like there's 1 pin left
2.
standing.
I
2.
think 2. Is it 2? I saw 2 pins.
Not quite sure.
Or maybe I saw 1 pin in lane 17 and then 1 in 16. I'm not sure.
Lane 16 looks to send those 2 pins down, but the ball goes into the gutter and the try is successful. Lane 18, there was a successful spare just now. Lane 15 sending the ball down the approach for a clean spare, it looks like. Lane 16 sends the ball down the approach, 4 pins left standing. In lane 18, there are 2 left standing. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach, 2 pins left standing. Pretty hard to keep up here, folks. A lot of fast movement going on and fast gameplay. Lane 17, Lainey Sellers sends the ball down the approach, is able to knock down all 4 of her last pins down for a spare. Lane 18, all pins left standing but 2. I really have a lot of deep respect for these bowlers here today. I could never do what they do. It's pretty hard to have the amount of hand-eye coordination that they do to be able to send the ball down and not into the gutter and also hit all of the pins at once. Lane 16, Ashley Fletcher sends the ball down the approach, 1 pin left standing. Lane 15, there are 3 pins left standing. Looks like there will be a lot of our Heritage boys and girls going for some spares here as lane 18 attempts to knock down his last 2 pins and does it successfully for a spare. Lane 17 sends the ball down the approach, just shy of hitting those last 2 pins down. Lane 16 also going for a spare that's going to be Ashley Fletcher with 1 pin left standing. Sends the ball down the approach, and it is successful for a nice spare. Lane 17 sending the ball down the approach. That's going to be Parker Logan. Clean spare. Lane 15, 3 pins left standing for Lainey Sellers. And there's a clean strike in lane 18 as the boys are picking up their momentum. Lane 16 going in for it, 3 pins left standing. Lane 15 attempting a spare with also 3 pins left standing. Lane 17, Parker Logan goes in for it and almost gets a strike with 1 pin left standing, it looks like. Lane 15, Lainey Sellers goes for those last 3 with 1 left standing. Lane 16 is able to get a successful spare, knocking down those last 4 pins.
Yep. looks like the Mounties looks like the girls Mounties have finished their round. And it looks like oh, I lied. The boys Mounties have finished their round.
Looks like some of our boys and girls are going to be wrapping up their second match real soon. Lane 16 going in for it, 1 pin left standing. Lane 18 is able to get a successful and clean strike. Ashley Fletcher in lane 15 sends the ball down the approach for those 3 pins left standing and does it successfully and effortlessly. Nice clean spare there. Lane 16 sending the ball down the approach. Looks like a clean strike for both your girls and your guys all at once in lane 16 and lane 18. Quick score update in lane 15 for your girls, score of 449. Lane 16 for your girls, score of 386. Lane 17 and 18 for your boys, we got scores of 527 in lane 17 and 544 in lane 18. Looks like the boys are very close to wrapping up. It looks like they did wrap up their second match. Girls seem to be very close as well to wrapping up their second match. Lane 16 goes in for the spare with 2 pins left standing and is able to successfully knock them down.
Huh?
I think the girls might be done now, as it doesn't look like... Oh, I stand corrected. It's like lane
2 rounds
16
remain. Lane 16.
going in for the approach. And it looks like there's a strike. A lot of chance from all the teams here. It's pretty amazing. Lane 16 going in for her last try. Last try, I think. Kind of hard to see here. A lot of people standing around. Lane 16 goes in for it. All of the pins but 1 knocked down. Let's see if she can get this last pin. A lot of concentration involved in this, especially with 1 pin left standing. Lane 16 going in for her address, sends the ball down the approach. And that 1 pin is successfully knocked over for a spare to end both of the girls' rounds in lane 15 and lane 16. Quick score check for you. We've got lane 15 and 16 for the girls. Lane 15 at a score of 458. Lane 16 at a score of 435. Lane 17 and 18 for your boys at a score of 527 and a score of 544.
Truly, honestly, my high score in bowling is like 115 at max.
Last time I went bowling probably was quite a while ago.
Yeah,
so,
I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago when I went bowling last.
But even just watching this, I have a lot of respect for both the boys and the girls team.
Yeah.
It's definitely pretty hard to do what they do. With these rounds matching up, we're going to go into a quick ad break and then give you a little recap on how that second match went as the War Eagles stack up against the other teams. Be back.
roof is the home's main defense against the elements, so services like upkeep, repairs, and upgrades are vital. David's Roofing is the only roofing contractor in Northwest Arkansas that has the prestigious Select Shingle Master rating from CertainTeed. With David's Roofing, your roof is in good hands.
Always remember to drive your own bus.
And we are back. This is going to be our makers game. And as of our second two matches, both our boys and girls teams are in the lead. Boys hold a much smaller lead over the RHS Mounties than the girls do. Hopefully this makers game goes pretty well. Looks like in lane 15 there are 3 pins left over. Lane 17, Parker Logan goes in to get that last pin, and it is unsuccessful as the ball ends up in the gutter. Lane 15 going in for those last 3 pins, and she is able to pull off a spare.
Lane 17 with a strike. That last pin really fought about whether or not it was going to go down, but it decided to go down, giving lane 17 another strike.
Our score for our girls so far is 46, and our boys so far is 37.
I was going to say,
Boys are able to knock down all but 1 pin. And I think the girls in lane 15 just managed to pull off a nice clean strike. Lane 15, girls are able to leave all but 2 pins down. Looks like there was a spare that just happened in lane 17. Lane 15, we've got one of our Lady Warrior Girls going in for those last 2 pins. Sends the ball down the approach. And she's able to successfully get those down for a spare. Lane 17, we've got one of our boys bowlers going in for those last 2 pins.
And they're
he's
down.
able to successfully knock them down for a nice spare. Quick little score update. Our girls in lane 15 have a score of 86 currently, while our boys have a score of 75. Correction, girls have a score of 105. Lane 17, able to knock down all pins but 2. And then lane 15, we've got one of our girls going to knock down last pin. Lane 15, not able to quite knock down that last pin as the ball goes into the gutter. Sorry folks if it's a bit hard to see, it's pretty crowded in here right now. Lane 15, we've got Ashley Fletcher sending the ball down the approach, leaving 1 pin still up. See if she can make this into a nice spare. Going for that last pin as the boys go in and are able to get a clean strike by Parker Logan. Ashley Fletcher sends the ball down the approach and is able to successfully knock down that last pin for a spare. Another score update. Girls are at 114 in lane 15, and the boys are at 102 in lane 17. Girls leave 3 pins up, and one of our boys in lane 17 is going to go for a spare with 2 pins still left. Let's see if he can successfully knock them over. Lane 17 able to successfully knock down those last 2 pins for a spare. And lane 15 is able to knock down 2 of the 3 pins left standing. successfully pull off a clean strike. And in lane 15, sending the ball down. 1 pin left standing. Lane 17, all pins but 3 still left standing. And then lane 15, just shy of hitting that last pin over for a spare, but it is not quite successful. Looks like the girls' makers game is over, and the boys
Looks like the
going
girls'
for a
game-
spare.
Looks like their girls' game is over with a score of 149, and the boys' game is over with a score of 160.
Looks like we are in the lead as of right now.
For the girls, boys are about 11 points behind. Pea Ridge got 171, and your War Eagles got 160.
Since most of our matches are over at the moment, we will be just recapping a bit before going into an ad. So this game has been really great and amazing to watch. It's been my
Yes.
first time ever watching a bowling match. I don't know about you.
both of ours.
And it has been really great, a lot more action-packed than
Yes.
one might expect. But it has been great, and it's been amazing to see all of the strategy coming from both
Yes.
sides.
And all the support too, the chants and the cheering, the fist bumps. It really just brought a positive environment and
Yeah.
a great way to end my Tuesday.
Definitely an amazing way to create a really good atmosphere for all the players to really
Yes.
concentrate and do well. And so our coaches here at Heritage Bowling have done a great job of having their teams cheer on their fellow teammates as they bowl, which I really think has helped us be pretty successful throughout the day. Looks like some of our girls are just doing a little bit of bowling for fun at the moment. Oh,
Looks like they got.
looks like there's a second Makers game here.
Oh, it's there.
I guess so. Going on in lane 16 and lane 18. 16 for your girls, 18 for your boys. Lane 16, we had one of our girls try to go in for a spare with 3 left up, but only successfully knocking down one of those 3. One of our girls going for it, sends the ball down. Looks like 6, 8, 7 pins left up, sorry. Little bit of difficulty seeing, it's pretty packed in here. Boys are able to get a clean and even
Right.
strike. Really fun environment again, as I said, folks, as the boys and the girls team cheer each other on. Lane 16 is able to get all but 2 pins down. Lane 16 goes in for it, ball curves around, and there are 2 pins left up. Looks like we will have our boys and our girls both going for a spare in lane 18 and lane 16. Lane 18, the boys are able to successfully pull off that spare and knock down those 2 remaining pins. And let's see if our girls can match that energy. Able to successfully send both of those last 2 pins down for a spare. Lane 18, there are 3 pins left up. Lane 16, we've got one of our girls sending the ball down the approach. And that knocks down all but 1 pin. in. Boys able to knock down all but one pin in that second attempt for a spare. Not quite successful. Lane 16, we've got one of our girls going in for a spare with one pin left standing. See if she can pull it off. Not quite successful as the ball goes into the gutter. Lane 16, one of our girls sending the ball. And there is a successful strike. Lane 18. Looks like there might have been one or more pins left standing. Lane 16, one of our girls goes in for it. Ball heads down. Looks like there are 4 pins left standing for our girls. For the boys, sending the ball down. 3 pins left standing. Lane 16, we've got one of our girls sending the ball down the approach. Able to hit 2 out of 4 of those pins left. Lane 18, I think we're about to have one of our boys trying to go in and get a spare with 3 pins left standing. Really like to see that the boys are taking their time on the address though and trying to play this in the most strategic way possible. Lane 16, one of our girls sends the ball down the approach, and there are 2 pins left standing. Just a quick score check. Our girls in lane 16 have a score of 70, while our boys in lane 18 have a score of 92. Lane 16, one of our girls is going into those last 2 pins and just shy of them. And in lane 18, there are 3 pins left standing, and one of our boys is going to go in and try and get a nice spare. Lane 16, we've got Sahara Pullen taking her address, sending the ball down the approach, all but 3 pins. Lane 16, again, that's going to be Sahara Pullen. Sends the ball down the approach. Gets those last 3 pins down for a nice spare. And in lane 18, the boys are also having some success with getting all but 1 pin down.
Looks like we are wrapping up our final rounds here.
Lane 16, looks like we've got Ava going in, pushing the ball down the approach. 3 pins left standing. And in lane 18, the boys are able to pull off a nice spare. One of our boys sends the ball down the approach. 4 pins are left standing. One of our girls goes for the spare, but it is unsuccessful as the ball ends up in the gutter. That does help the girls to break 100 points here.
Yes, it does.
Boys are currently at a score of 127.
Looks like both of our teams are wrapping up their last rounds here.
Lane 16.
That's a strike.
Beautiful work there from your girls in lane 16.
Beautiful strike there.
Lane 18 able to also pull off a strike.
Put the pressure on. Let's go.
Lane 16. 3 pins left standing.
A lot of high-fiving going around.
Yes.
Really amazing.
Lots of support, lots of cheers.
As we've been repeating all day, these
You got
these environments that have been created by their teammates and their coaches are just amazing. And the boys are able to pull off a successful strike. Pretty great work there. And the girls are going in for a spare in lane 6. That caps off our girls' second makers round.
In the boys' last round.
It's going to be your boys' anchor. And he's able to pull off a third strike in a row. It's going to be third bagger for your boys at the end of that.
Oh, I also forgot. Tune in tonight here at 6:34. Are we live streaming the orchestra concert?
That's awesome.
There is an orchestra concert today here at Heritage. However, we are not live streaming that. But if you want to come and support Oakdale, go ahead. There is also a choir orchestra. And on Thursday, there is Lingle's Orchestra Concert, which also won't be live streamed, but you are more than welcome to show up and help support your Oakdale Patriots tomorrow and your Lingle Lions on Thursday.
Just to give a quick update on those scores for those second maker rounds, your girls in lane 16 got a score of 120 total, and your boys in lane 18 got a total score of 177. Pretty amazing work by both our boys and our girls team today.
Yes. Looks like we are wrapping up here.
About to see the final standings of each team here today. Really exciting. After those second matches, our Heritage War Eagles ended up in the lead, but we are about to see what happened after these maker matches.
Rogers got third. P. Ridge got second. And the War Eagles got first place. For the boys, I think it was Rogers came in second, P. Ridge came in third.